Hey Holly, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I'm just trying to finish up some last minute things here. I'm looking for a scene. I'm looking for a scene. I'm looking for a scene. So I just moving around a few things in a folder. So let me ask y'all to just share the live. Let me get things going. I had a video to show you tonight, but for whatever reason, the link is not working. Hey Sylvester, hey Shanette, Guevara. Hey na Guevara. Hi Sola. Guevara, aren't you supposed to be in your bed? I'm sweating. It's a hot night. Woo! Yeah, it clear, very clear. And here now, I only have on one light. One. When everything topper, it have to be clear. Let me see if this, if it will show like this. Video still unavailable. It's a song that was done. Let me show you the YouTube link. Okay, she's sending another one. Let me see if this one works now. Let's see. Still unavailable. Okay. People, just bear with me. 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 What kind of storm? Hey, Michelle. What kind of storm y'all have in Guevara? Put this inside here. Okay, so I just hit paste and I'm not seeing anything. Share the live, people. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Let's get this rolling. Let's get this rolling. Hey, Rosalie. Miss Aquarius Shan, good night, darling. How are you doing? If I look tired, it's because I am tired. I broke my glasses this week. So this is actually an old pair that I'm using, and I should not be doing that. I should not be using an old pair. But if I don't use this, then things are going to be far worse. Well, it might just be far worse using this. I don't know. Well, most likely, but still, at least I could see. Yeah, so I have to go and get my eyes retested and order a new pair of glasses. And that's something, eh? Can't buy glasses and Sylvester and Granny's when you could go on places like Zenny and so forth and spend about 100 US, and you're gonna get frame, lens, clip-on shades if you want the nighttime clip-ons. Hey Anne Marie, hey Sharon, hey Misha, if you want with the lenses using the theater again, the 3D something, you can get all of that for about 100 US. And 100 US will not get you glasses here in St. Vincent. It wouldn't even get you frames. And the sad thing about it is that many of the spectacle shops here, let me not use spectacle shops in that is the name of an actual shop, but many of the shops here that sell glasses order their frames from these same low budget sites and then add on zeros when they reach here. Ask your friends who are customs, they will tell you these glasses that you are paying hundreds of dollars for. Hey Brenton, hey Campier, Evlon. So the call for justice for CJ continues. As I've said before, CJ is a young man who I taught years ago at the Bishop's College, and he is somebody who I remember fondly because of his interest in art. Always smiling, always jovial. So it would really not be a decent thing for me to ignore what has happened to him. And as much as I don't want to get too involved in what his family are doing, in the sense that I don't want to be seen as somebody who is putting out things before them or telling them what to do, that sort of thing. I want them to be able to grieve and still seek justice for this young man. CJ died in extremely tragic circumstances. Can't imagine. And one of the things I said to somebody recently is that he'll have perhaps the good thing about it, and even to use the word good, you have to cringe a little, is that because of the paralysis, he wasn't in pain, because he would have been in a lot of pain had it not been for the paralysis. And so you could sort of take comfort, in that he transitioned smoothly, easily, despite the circumstances. I don't know. To describe the whole thing and to find the right words to say is really not the easiest thing to do, because it is still fresh on so many people's minds. Say, it is so fresh on people's minds. So you don't want to, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing and offend anybody. But yes, the struggle continues, as you would see. You would see posters up, calling for justice for him, calling for people to remember him. His funeral would be at the end of this month. I think it's the 28th. I could be corrected. The hardest thing about all of this is that, and I've said it before, what happened to him happened. And okay, so Brenton is saying that we have to keep pictures of whatever photograph of damaged vehicle before it is fixed, as is being said. Yeah, I'll get to that. Okay, so Tessila saying his funeral is on the 26th, not the 28th. Now, the Prime Minister knew that CJe's injuries were severe. He knew this. And nobody needed to say this to him for him to take an interest in what was happening to that young man. I repeat, his own son Storm got in an accident up at Sign Hill around there, caused by, I think, was Church of the Nazarene. Place and time insignificant. Same motorbike accident. He ran into a van and he was flown out immediately. He was flown out. There was no if buts, not maybe about him staying here at Milton Keynes. So he was flown out because his father and his mother were not going to take any chances with their son, because of course there could be internal injuries and so forth that you don't see. And we do not have the equipment here to check for all of these things as we should. So he was, and at the end of it, from all newspaper accounts, all Storm had was a fractured arm. That's it. A fractured arm. Now here is CJ. And he had far more than a fractured arm. Far more than a fractured arm. He had broken limbs. He was underneath of a vehicle, having been run over by the vehicle. And he was left there at Milton Keynes to die. I'm saying it plainly. Because Ralph knew, the hospital staff knew, that what he needed, we didn't have here. When Ralph got that little scrape on his head, what did he do? He took a doctor from Milton Keynes and he flew to Barbados to get an MRI. He could have done the same for CJ. He could have gotten a doctor or a team of doctors if necessary, get an air ambulance and send him to Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever, to see what could be done to help him. Because we didn't have it. We don't have it. And this is why it is so important for this fight to bring about something. But you see, Vincentians, you'll have to want this something. You'll have to want the change, because too often you start these fights and then you just quiet down. As everybody is the 9 days talk. Because we lost children here because of a fire. Again, not because the nurses and doctors at the hospital were negligent, but because the hospital itself, because the country itself, you hear, modern hospital here, smart hospital there, but yet we're losing lives for the most simple things. And what y'all fail to understand is that, hey Preston, good night, hey Hope. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Intentions need to wake up. They use these words to play with your minds. And so they attach fancy names to things so that you now become bamboozled and you become like potty in their hands. So they say modern hospital and you jump up, yeah, modern hospital. Yeah. Then they say, oh, smart hospital. And you have a smartphone. So you're thinking, if that's a smart hospital and I have a smartphone that could do this and could do that, you're thinking, well, this hospital, topper. Says modern hospital, smart hospital, all sorts of fancy words. And you get caught up in it. Share the life, people. Share the life, share the life, share the life. Because some people are still going to be on my page looking for it and they're going to be messaging me, even though I say I'm not doing it live from my personal account anymore. So please share the live, tag a friend, Let's get this going. Oh, shucks, I almost send Kenzie the link. So yeah. So I bring Kenzie after this. They add on all these fancy words to these simple things. A hospital, a clinic. As a matter of fact, they take hospitals now, or the word hospital, to replace the word clinic. It's a clinic. I remember when they started talking about the polyclinics. And Vincentians rejoice over this polyclinic, not knowing what a polyclinic should be. A polyclinic is basically a mini hospital. So, and they're supposed to be open all the time. The polyclinic ain't supposed to be shutting down. But y'all don't read upon these things, and y'all don't try to gain information. Or when people bring information to you, oh, it's because she hates Ralph when she talking, so she don't talk about Ralph. Ralph this, Ralph that. I like she never like Ralph. Thank you, Tanya. A polyclinic is supposed to be open 24 hours. Just like a hospital. All the services that they get in at a hospital, you're supposed to get them at a polyclinic. So they drop on polyclinic to the clinic, and you know thinking, well, yes, things nice. But yet, if something happened to somebody in Oriel, Georgia, or wherever, everybody will find themselves down to Milton Key to Memorial Hospital. How is that? How is that? So the point I'm making is this. Stop being bamboozled by these fancy names that they attach to these things. Because at the end of the day, when our children, when our parents, when our cousins or aunts or siblings or whoever need the treatment, the fancy names mean nothing. Mean nothing. So we lost the children who were burnt. Now we've lost CJea. Why? Because the hospital is inadequate. And not just the hospital. All the facilities in the country are inadequate. Every single one of them. Because guess what? If one of these smart hospitals or these modern medical facilities or whatever, if any of them were able to take care of CJea's needs, he would have been at one of them, not at Milton Keynes. He would have been at one of them. So y'all have to decide. Are you going to fight? Are you going to fight for this or not? Because some of you now, and I'm going to be very blunt here. Some of you now who are jumping up for justice for CJea, some of you who are now on this, are the same people who would sit and curse me and curse Kenson when we sit to y'all. Stop behaving like idiots and put hospital over Parliament building. Some of you who jumping up now are people who be like, oh, they want to see the country progress because you're supporting the Parliament building. Here what the government is going to do now. They're going to build a temporary Parliament building. And when they finish with the temporary Parliament building, they're going to then build a real Parliament building. And your backside still in Hano Hospital. Not even that, Guevara. Not even that. Remember, Ralph himself had to fly out to get his diagnosis. Not even that. Because if it could have, he would have been sent out there. You're sitting down and you're supporting everything they bring. Everything they bring. So they're going to build temporary parliament and then new parliament building, and you jump up, yes. The country needs that. The country needs that. And it costs anybody who says that the country don't need that. We don't need that. Camilo go and waste money for elections to say he building track. Well, no, sorry, stadium. Again, using the fancy words to bamboozle, to turn all it dotish. Using fancy words to turn all it dotish. So he chased out the goat and the sheep and them out there for a little bit. Get somebody to come put down some track How one big fancy opening ceremony and trying to compare what they are to what is in Sinclair that has been approved, and telling you that that track has been approved. And I showed you where that track was on no Olympic list. No list had that track on it. None has been an approved any venue for anything. None. But y'all don't listen. And y'all don't want to do all the research. And every time somebody do research and bring it for y'all, they say, she make up that site there. So he put down a track and christened stadium. And you run, I'm like, oh, we get stadium now. And now time school want the track for use. Them can't use the track. The track not usable. Wasted money. That money could have been, hey Andrea, hey Renwick, that money could have been put into the building. All they sit down and all they went on the live when they break down Imat's sister's house. All they been glad. All they been glad. Break down the man's house, the man's sister's house. Break it down because of bad mind. Because of bad mind. And all they sit down and live and all they love it up and whatever. We're going on there now. We're going on there now. Other than people parking the car on what used to be the woman's home. You see an extension to any hospital on that property? No. But you hear they telling you how much millions they put into building a tarmac academy. Break down Iman's sister's house because of spite. Spite. And all they supported that. You see anything happen to the hospital? You see any addition to any hospital there? No. You see any movement to put anything there? No. Spite. Spite. And all of these are things that you sit down and you support and you don't push for proper hospital facility. Let CJea's death not be in vain. Let it not be in vain. Let it. There was a young man who died years ago. He used to be a very good friend of mine. And he was close to Renee Batiste. When he died, you know what they did? She went to Parliament and pushed through a bill. Boop. That was done instantly. And that's why you see everybody now has to wear a helmet because of Darren. That's why everybody has to wear a helmet now. That's what these people do when they say they actually care about somebody. So that young man was close to her and that hit her. That death hit. It hit everybody because it was just surreal. Because just the night before, we were at a function. I think it was at a tourism, or it was about cruise ship berth. I think it was about cruise ship berth. And then by the next day, motorcycle accident, gone. And she pushed that bill through because he wasn't wearing his helmet. And now everybody on a bicycle, bike, whatever, required to wear a helmet because of him. Because of that law. I think it's called Darren's law, something like that. No. Prioritize intentions. You need to prioritize. You need to decide what is important to you. If you're going to fight for CJea and you're going to fight for justice and you're going to fight for these police officers to be dealt with, because hey, the other thing, we have seen before where police officers have been convicted. Now here say, taken to court and convicted. And where they now? Right back in the police force. So that is a very real possibility in this situation here. It's a very real possibility that Ralph would allow this thing to go through to the court, have these policemen convicted, and then return them straight to the force. Right back to the force they will go. Because we have seen time and time again that under this Ralph Gonsalves regime, the law is a hot mess. All they do is make mockery of every legal situation. Look at Ashel and Kareem. Hmm? How you could go and shoot a man in the foot and then walk around the place normal. Hmm? Normal. Because the Prime Minister helped you to cover it up. Just like how he's helping these police officers to cover this up. Because don't tell me that you come putting out article, and I said this over and over now. All Ralph wants to do is to direct the rhetoric around this matter. So he's going to try to get people to think what he wants them to think. So right now, he's saying to people, it's such a sad thing that happened. And I'm going to do my best to ensure that CJea gets justice. The best that Ralph could have done is to fly CJea out to get help. Because Ralph knew that CJea was at the hospital. Every day CJea was at the hospital, Ralph knew what was happening to CJea every single day. And he did nothing to help. He could have got a team of doctors, got that young man flown to Barbados, wherever, to get help. So tell Ralph that Adriana King said to miss her with the BS. Because if he wanted to help CJea, he would have helped CJea when CJea was taken to the hospital on the very first day. Because he knew. But you see all them sit down there, waiting patiently for the young man to die, so that nothing could come out of this and they could cover it up. I am saying it. If nobody else wants to say it, I am saying it. Plain and simple. Because with him gone, it's the mother's story versus the policeman's story, and he can't give his. But you see, the universe allowed him to give his story. And so his story is here and it has been recorded. And you can't get past that. You can't get past that. And his story was accurate. So when Ralph talking about he want to get to the bottom of it, tell Ralph, shut up. Say a liar, dirty demon, shut up. Because that's what he is. He's demonic. Done right. Because now we're hearing that the police vehicle has already been fixed. Now, common sense, people. And if all you don't want to use common sense, go on CSI, go on, we call it Law and Order, go on Perry Mason, go on Murder Show, go on any one of them detective shows. You hear me? If that vehicle is part of an investigation, that vehicle can't be fixed. If that vehicle is part of an investigation, it can't be fixed. It cannot be fixed. It cannot be fixed until the matter has been dealt with. But now we're hearing that the vehicle has been fixed. So how could Ralph say that he's trying to get to the bottom of it when they're out here fixing the vehicle? Because you know what that does? When you fix the vehicle, you erase all signs of what actually took place. That's what you're doing. Because you're supposed to have now, because remember, CJea said that he was underneath the vehicle. So you're supposed to have hundreds of photos of underneath this vehicle, the side of this vehicle, on top of this vehicle, wherever. And you're not supposed to fix this vehicle until this whole thing until the investigation is over. So if the vehicle is fixed, all that is saying to us is that the investigation is over. That's it. So Ralph now is just going to be spinning tails like he always does. Just lie. And calling the commissioner of police, all he's going to be doing too is lie. Because Colin is also a liar. Colin lies, Ralph lies. So all of that has to be taken into consideration. I just got a message here. It says, Okay. So noted. Got that message. You can't be fixing the vehicle. You cannot be fixing the vehicle at this point. That vehicle, nobody, no police officer, unless it's a police officer who is part of the investigation, is supposed to be messing with that vehicle. Mechanic ain't supposed to be messing with that vehicle unless again it's somebody who's being called in for their expertise. That's it. But nobody is supposed to be fixing that vehicle. Them fixing that vehicle is a clear indication of where they want this thing to go, which is nowhere. And I'll put it to you again. Is that what you want? Because if every time this issue comes up in relation to the hospital and the inadequacies, we just let things slide, let things slide, let things slide, it's going to creep up. It's going to creep up. And it's going to hit your family one of these days. And you don't want that. Of course, the only thing we need to do is get rid of them. I keep saying to people over and over and over, this whole watch God thing. Me about this watch God thing. Me about this sitting and praying and waiting. Me about that. I said to y'all over and over and over again, y'all need to pray for strength to go out and meet all the enemies and deal with them. Y'all have to pray for the strength of Judith, Esther, Jael, all of these people. Pray for the strength of Samson and David. Learn how to swing a slingshot. Learn how to take up a stake from a tent and drive it through the head of your enemies. You have to learn how to fight. You have to learn how to ask God for strength to go meet your enemies. And he said that. He said, if you pray for strength, he will go with you, go deal with them. There's no time to sit down and watch God. This ain't time to sit down and watch God. This is the time when you have to fight for this country harder than anybody has ever fought for it. This ain't a watch God ceremony. Pray. Pray without ceasing. Put on sackcloth. Do whatever you have to do. And ask for strength to go out to meet your enemies. Ask for strength to walk around the city 7 times. And to blow that trumpet so that the walls could fall. Good? That's the kind of strength you need to ask for. Action strength. Pray for action. Pray for strength to act. Now pray for strength for watch. This ain't no time of watching. This ain't no time of watching. So I would end on this by simply saying to you, let me see if I get cancelled. Stop prayer and watching. Decide what y'all really want to accomplish. And when I say y'all, I mean us. What do we really want to accomplish when we talk about justice for CJea? We want to see those police officers who are responsible for his death behind bars. Not just convicted and then returned to the police force. No, they need to be tried for murder. They need to be tried for murder. And it's about time y'all stop allowing this government to thief money and to bad spend money and start asking for the things that we need in this country, like a proper hospital. We Sabot talking about how he loved fishermen and he loved farmers. It is 20 years under the ULP. 20 long, dirty, stinking years under the ULP. And if a fisherman in St. Vincent, well, most so in the Grenadines, whoever, gets the bends, nothing here to help them. That is how much the ULP loves our fishermen. If a fisherman in St. Vincent gets the bends, he has to go to Grenada. nothing here to help them in St. Vincent and Grenadines after 20 years. 20 years. And you sit down and you're listening to this minister tell you over and over that his party loves fishermen so much. Why is it you're not creating situations for them to grow? Why? Why are you not doing that? That's not happening. You love fishermen, but me ask Miriam Webster nothing something. Why? Relax. Why are you not doing that? Hold on there. Good. Me ask Miriam Webster anything. You love fishermen, but yet a container, Amy, a container of safety equipment came into this country for fishermen. Ask about where the container is. Ask about where the equipment is. All the love our fisher folk. How many of them go to sea and never return because they don't have equipment to get in touch with people on land? Because they take out their cell phones and sometimes the cell phone, stops working because of the salt, because of the water, low battery, whatever the case is. Ask about the equipment that came for fishermen, the whole container of equipment that came. Ask him what he did with them. Ask him what he did with them so that you could understand just how much this government loves our fishermen. Ask him about that container of equipment. Ask him. And this is why I keep saying our journalists need to ask serious questions when they go to these press conferences. I'm fed up of seeing journalists go to press conferences and it's time to ask questions and they don't have any question. What are you doing there? What are you doing there? You have no question, but yet you need people press conference. Well, get out the people then press conference. If you have nothing to ask, get out. Get out. Find out things. Go and research. Get information. And then ask the questions. How you could tell Mr. Boto could sit down in front of you at a press conference and tell you, oh, his government loves fishermen and his government loves this love farmers, and you could sit down and watch containers again, of irrigation equipment rotting. And you ain't ask him about that. You ain't say to him, well, Minister CJea, you just stated that your government loves farmers. Could you explain to us then why there are 2 or 3 containers at Orange Hill with equipment for irrigation just rotting? Ask the people them the questions. Ask him. Minister CJea, you claim to love and you claim that your government loves all fisher folk. When are we going to get a decompression chamber here in St. Vincent and Grenadines that could save the lives of our fishermen? When? And what about those safety equipment that was sent here? Are they ever going to get them? Ask the questions. But you journalists in this country, you all shop and behave as though you're part of a public relations team. So whatever information that they give you, that's what you disseminate. You don't ask the real questions, because then if you go in and you ask the real questions, you're going to be seen as an NDP supporter. And who wants that, right? Let me see if my friend is still trying to send me this this clip. I'm gonna play it because it's dedicated to CJea. I haven't heard it. I'm just gonna hear it for the first time. It was done by his cousin, and I promised my friend, who is also a cousin of his, that I would play it. We're trying to get the video, but for whatever reason, it's not showing on YouTube. So I'm going to play the clip now. and hopefully by then Kenton would come in. So this song was written by my friend's nephew, CJe's cousin. And let's
love everybody, love everybody, love everybody, love everybody. My face to the sky, my back to the ground. R.I.P. my friend, I'll hold you down. You only got one life, so I'll make my round. You only had one life, so I'll hold your crown. You only had one life, and that was black life. I only have one life, and this is rap life. R.I.P. to the weak, R.I.P. to the weak. Send my condolences to family back in that speech. I only hear bad news, now my head is full of weed. And I was just telling some people about you just the other week. And I had plans to come and see, I look so sad you had to leave. But while you up at Heaven's Gate, make sure you save a spot for me. Damn, my sister's birthday coming in a couple days. Messed up, you got me grieving during time to celebrate. Messed up, I'm heartbroken before Valentine's Day. Messed up, you had to go before your own birthday. How selfish of me. I know you're my back, I'm feeling worse, and I'm here thinking of me. I know your brother and your sister feeling more emotionally. Some probably feeling way more emotionally. I'm feeling way more emotionally. Now it ain't your fault, and I heard all the story that I heard really sounded dumb. You ain't deserving cops is dirty, I know justice will be done. Like our granny always said, thy kingdom come. And love everybody. And love everybody. And love everybody. Love everybody. My face to the sky, my back to the ground. I be my friend, I'll hold you down. Only have one life, so I'll make my round. Only had one life, so I'll hold your crown. Only had one life, and that was bike life. I only have one life, and this is rap life. R.I.P. to the weak, R.I.P. to the weak. Let's go and sit out to my family back in SVG. Oh, 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 oh. Love everybody. Love everybody. Love everybody. Love everybody.
so yes, that song was written and performed by one of CJ's cousin who lives in the US. Well, he said it all, right? Said it all. Said it all. We need justice for CJ. And everybody would have to fight for that. Because this situation highlights so many things that are wrong. Akenson.
What's up?
So I'm here. I just started out talking about CJ and the fact that, Ralph is out here trying right now to direct the rhetoric surrounding this case and basically trying to kill the whole thing.
Of course, that's what they do.
In true Ralph style.
It's what they do.
You're hearing about the vehicle that they've already started fixing the vehicle, and I'm saying if it is that an investigation is active, how could you kill somebody and you start fixing the vehicle that was involved in the whole thing? How?
Well, maybe they done do all what they have to do, investigate what they are investigate, and we're gonna be hearing about the case just now.
But it can't be that because here Ralph coming and telling people now that he wants the truth, you
Well,
know?
that is what I'm saying. So maybe the people them they just maybe you report now over to here.
I tell you, the intentions need to up, wake
You
up.
know what? You know what came to my mind this morning? I was driving down Mackey's Hill when the thought came to my mind because I was listening to our Hot 97 going down, and they were talking about who the guy Richardson, who they say they are investigating for you know for
Mhm,
for
mhm,
setting up
mhm.
women to say that
Yes.
and I said at the end of the day, honestly, with all this said there and so forth, I don't see yet charge that they could lay on this guy. All
But
right,
I was
but
trying
I'm
to figure out
saying
what it was about.
that is what I'm saying. A lot of people say, "Oh, he called them," and they think, "Yes, yes,
So what?
yes." But what hot came out of it onto you? Even this morning, and what brought the thought to my mind that I'm going to talk about is that a lady called in this morning and she said that about 25 or so years ago,
Hmm.
24, 25 years ago, this man offered the same job something, and she went to the botanic garden to meet up with him, and he started feeling her up and she slapped him and run.
Hmm.
Right? But my thing is, at that time, did she make a report to the police? That is my first thing, eh? No,
Well,
the
I
reason why
think
that no, well, hold on, it's funny. I have to hold it in my hand because I'm outside. Um, and I'll try not to put it down so the light will
mm-hmm.
affect too much. So what came to my mind was first, did she make a report at the time? Which it doesn't sound like likely, but now that this thing come out, she is. But my thing
Well,
is
you
this.
see, for that for me, and let me see this plainly. I don't question
Mm-mm.
when people speak their truth.
No, no,
I
no, no,
don't
no, no,
question
no,
it.
no, no. I'm not questioning the truth. No.
Mm.
This is why it just jolted something in my head. Where I'm saying there's no statute, no statute of
No.
limitation on rape and those kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, how is it that they find to from the time Ralph talk about this um
Okay.
trafficking
They're
in humans
focusing
and
on
so
the
forth
human
thing?
trafficking and
All
not
of
on
a
how.
sudden,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but all of a sudden they could pick out this man, have all these people come forward. They're doing this deep investigation and so forth. What happened to all the people them who say Ralph raped them, who say Ralph sexually molest them, who say Julian do the same thing, who say this PS and that PS did the same thing and nothing? Do these people realize that these things have no statute of limitation?
But with a
So I was
police commissioner
wondering
like
when are
Copeland
they
John,
going to? Yeah, but when are they going to start these in-depth investigations on people like Ralph? I'm sorry, I have to come and take over a program with this thing, but
no,
it came to
no,
my
when
mind
we
this
demand
morning,
it, when we demand it.
and yeah, I know that to talk about Ralph and his nonsense, but want truth. Same way we want the truth pertaining to Michelle and Jules and others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see, same way we want the truth about Yugi.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Two people, two top people in the country. Their names have been dragged by not one, not two, not three, many women. And you want to tell me the truth in these things, and the police can't do this in-depth digging for so they want us to believe that they care about women and the vulnerable so much all of a sudden we're stupid.
If we cared anything about human trafficking, as you said, you mentioned Yugi's name, we would have looked into the Camilo Yugi affair. Because if all allegations are correct, Camilo is involved or was involved in human trafficking.
Exactly. And you see, I
And
raise
breaking
all
out
of this because of
intentions,
the whole you see the same CJ
many of
thing,
them
eh?
have this idea that human trafficking is simply about putting somebody in a container and taking them overseas. Let me tell you all something. If a man uses his power, whatever, to take a woman from Kingston to Georgetown, to use her sexually or trafficking. Simple as that. Simple,
Yeah.
simple as that. So
But
all I don't get
the
me
reason
tied
why I
up.
raise that is because of the context that you have placed the CJ thing in. It's the same thing. And you have said it in Ralph, in perfect Ralph style. This dead.
Mhm.
It's dead. And that is why I raised that issue there. It just jolted what I was thinking about this morning. You see?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so this is what they do. They do stuff, and because they have the power too, they literally cover their back, and people see it as the norm now that oh the big man there, so now we come out of it.
Nothing.
And you accept it.
Nothing.
No, but it's the blatant acceptance. That's my problem, G.
And the whole judiciary is tied up
Eh?
into getting this thing, um, you know, getting the outcome that they want.
But G, you surprised? Again,
No, I'm not surprised.
Chris saw them
But
talk
people have
about
to
this thing this
rewind
morning
now.
where they were talking and thing, and Jaga, I think, was the one who raised back the point about someone being shot in the leg. You have somebody with a blasted gun bullet in the leg. I had to ask, is not what if a
Mhm.
blasted gunshot in the man leg?
But then guess what, Kenson? When the
The
medical
man not
report
dead.
is eventually found, there is no mention of the gunshot wound.
But you see the kind of crap.
And then somebody used to ask me on Searchlight, if I am questioning the pathologist's
Of
credibility.
course.
I said, huh?
I
I said,
mean,
the minute Ralph, the minute there were errors in the medical report, and the minute Ralph got involved in this, everybody became questionable. Everybody, everything
listen,
became questionable.
listen. I am so sad, so saddened to have to reach to the point that you have to question the credibility of these people, every single
I
one of
have
them.
to.
All the people who have been put in place to safeguard and stand as guard to the gateways of the entries of our democracy. All of them you have
We've,
to question from the commissioner right down, and
and we've
sadly the
proven
DPP's
that,
office too.
Kenson. We've proven that, not just with the Ashel Karim shooting incident, not just with the way Yugi was practically killed by this Ralph
Hmm.
Gonsalves regime. In our own matters, we got witness
Yes,
statements from senior police officers, Scratchy, Buju, whoever else,
blatantly
lying,
blatantly lying,
lying to the courts,
and know the lying too.
lying
Know
to
the
the
lying.
court. So when you have
Hmm?
all of these things, and when we could stand plainly and say that we are examples of how far they would go with their deceit, why would I stand up and say that I trust them after that?
G,
Hmm?
let me show you even on a more personal note. I have a case going on in the court. I have a case going on in the court. Well, everybody would have read about it in the Searchlight. Because Searchlight happily put it up there, a case that happened the week before the last. It didn't make the Friday news or anything like that. It made the midweek news because they're looking for
Well, I'm
something funny.
sorry now. Let me tell you something. When I read the article, I laughed. Hey, why I laugh?
You
I
have to
laughed
laugh.
when one of the guys who was in the cell said he was on his bed relaxing, so we don't really know what's going on. And I made a comment and I said, if drinking water and minding your business were a prisoner, that's him.
No,
So you
no,
did a
here's the thing.
cell and a man
Here's the
getting
laugh
beaten
about,
up
but hey,
and
it's
you
the
in your
same.
bed
No.
relaxing.
It's the same man who the same guy and me who in court. Hit on
Say that again?
the guy who got hit from the
Mhm,
guy who me and him are in court.
mhm.
That's the guy who said that he was on his bed.
He be relaxing, drink
Yes.
water, mind your business.
So here you have an issue where the commissioner of police have no power and no jurisdiction over prisons. But a letter was mistakenly sent to him as claimed by the lawyer. And he took up the matter and brought a criminal charge against me over an internal matter in the civil service.
Mhm.
You see?
Because what? It's for calling it's personal.
But that's the point. That's
For
exactly
Colin's
the point.
personal. It is never about
And then,
his job and his professional, well, lack of professionalism. It's never
no, but
about
here's the
that.
sweet
It's
part
his
about this case.
personal.
You know what? You want to know the sweet part about this? Is that the state that is supposed to be representing me is who is prosecuting me.
Mm-hmm.
That is the laugh about all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So tell
But like
me,
I said,
what is justice in St. Vincent? So what kind of justice for CJ we talking about?
well, that's the whole thing, Kenson. Before you came on, I said plainly, just like I've been saying for months now, we have to stop talking. This
But
is
you let
time
me
when
say
you
something
ask
here.
God for strength to defeat your enemies. There's not time
But
to
let me say
sit down
something plain
and
here.
watch God.
But let me say something plain here. A whole heap of people again, and you always hear me say it, are just basically bandwagonists, mouth champs, and freaking hypocrites.
You miss plenty. Because we don't deal with all of that.
No, you see them three there? Them three there for me cover them.
You hear me say? You miss plenty because I've dealt with all of that tonight. I dealt with all of
Listen,
that.
yeah,
I
I
dealt
missed
with
some
all
because you know I was a little busybody, you know, before I got to come on, so I didn't get
I
to hear
dealt with
much
that.
of what you said before.
I said it plainly.
You know,
When we sit down and we talk about um not putting a parliament building as priority, not wasting money on a track that ain't going to do nothing, not
exactly,
wasting money on a market that ain't going to open ever, not wasting money for patch roads when in next 2 months you're going to patch them again. Put the money in things that count. Get a hospital. Get a proper
exactly,
hospital. And the same people who curse us out when we talk about these things and saying, oh, we not like the government and we anti-progress, and many of the same people who now jumping up justice for CJ. But
no,
guess what? If they
me
were
think you go
jumping
the
with
wrong
us,
route.
if they were jumping with us, when we were saying put hospital first, them things that come after, we
Exactly,
might be able to save some people.
but that's the point. And on top of that, to add to that, when we were out there saying justice for Cornelius John, they wanted to kill because what? It's one of their heroes, one of their kind who was
And it
being
didn't hit
touched.
them yet, Kenson. It didn't hit
But that's
them
my
yet.
point. That is my point, Dre. So now it's a matter that some of them now want to play most bandwagonists because what? It's the police. Go after the police because the police are main target. The police are easy people to target. Target the police. Why the hell not target the government and Ralph?
Okay.
Eh?
Okay.
So you go target the
Because it's
police
the
because what?
government and Ralph is going to
I
make
saw
money
small
away.
one. But that's my point. But hey, no, the police little. Go
Mhm.
after the police because what the police everybody beating bag. Police brutality. You remember I could jump up on that now. Police
Mhm.
brutality.
But
You know?
as somebody mentioned earlier, they said, I saw some comment somewhere. They made a statement and they say you as in Ralph. Are you who
Hmm.
train them to behave the way them a behave?
Of course.
Because when you
Of
have him
course.
out here behaving recklessly with impunity, they must carry on
And
anyhow
and,
they
and,
feel
and
like.
lawfully too. And lawfully
They
too.
must carry on anyhow they feel like. And that is why you have a police commissioner who, when me tell he today must check my life later. By the way, good night, Colin John. Big up yourself. When me tell he check me upon my life this evening, me go deal with he. I come tell me, but what? He not study me. And
Really?
the funny thing about Colin, is that he gets drawn into these things so
So
easily.
easily. So
So
easily. The
easily.
man is an idiot.
There's Colin in front of the courthouse with his junior officers and people from the public cussing me because me tell he must
Let me
check
tell
my
you.
life.
Oi, Colin is like a monkey who you lead to a trap easy. Just put
Easy.
some a coconut there so scrape down the jelly in the coconut and put a little hole and he put his hand in there and can't get out the hand. How stupid.
It's like he just does not know. So shut up. You're the commissioner of police. Shut up. If
Hello.
somebody tells you something like that, shut up. Anyways, Ken,
Three.
I'm going to put on my collar now. You hear me? Because I have some questions to put to you. So I am putting on my collar.
You get a color there from Guevara?
Boy,
That
this
look
is
very
come,
Irish.
it come straight from England. You see it? Look at this.
Yeah, that look Englandish.
Look at this. Straight from England. This here come from.
That look Englandish. That a Guevara style.
So
Mm.
I'm gonna bring you right in here. Do you swear
Me
to
a
tell the
hostile
truth
witness,
and
eh?
nothing?
Me talk all.
Hello.
Yep,
Do
yes,
you
please.
swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Of course.
Say I. You say I do. You not say of course. You say I do.
I do, Your
Good.
Honor.
Good.
Me put up your wrong hand.
Put up your right hand for me, please.
Me hand there shuffle up. You know where yourself, they shuffle.
Okay. And
Right.
could you state your name for the record?
My name is Kenson Kenron King.
I
Just
didn't
my name
ask
is
anything else.
okay.
I didn't ask anything
Yes,
else.
sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
saw me. And don't mind me,
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes, Your
And
Honor.
could you state for the record where you live? The
I'm from
prison
Park Hill.
residence?
I'm living in Park Hill.
Okay. And what's your occupation?
Um, kind of prison officer, chef, um, and plenty other thing, Your Honor.
Did you say
Ma'am.
kind of a prison officer?
Yes, please.
Could you elaborate, please, for clarity?
Um, Presently, I'm on a case. I'm on suspension for the past almost 2 years, so I'm kind of a prison officer.
Okay. The records will reflect exactly what you've stated.
Thank you.
Now, the matter in question, Ken Finley versus the Commissioner of Police. Are
Hmm.
you able to give an account on that issue?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay, you could go right ahead.
Well, Your Honor, I was an eyewitness to what happened. Came across the van and I saw the commissioner of police very, very violent
Um, I'm a bit
toward.
uneasy about that word violent there. Could you explain
Okay,
what you mean by violent?
his demeanor, his raised voice, and his actions were violent toward the van driver. And he
His
was using
actions?
threatening
What were his
language
actions?
because he hold the van driver, open the van driver and pull him out the van.
Okay. And you saw these things.
Of course, I did.
Was anybody else
And
around?
oh, a lot of people, even people with phones recording, and there were
Okay,
other officers there with him too.
I'm going to put it to you that it was stated that there were about 5 or 6 persons in the street that day. Is that correct?
Which part of the street?
You answer the questions, please.
Well,
Would you
I
like me
would
to
like to know
clarify
which. Yes,
the
please.
question? Okay.
Of course.
In the vicinity near the van.
Well, where the van was close to the courthouse, opposite the St. Vincent market, the vegetable market, with its face towards Korea side. And there were about a couple thousand people, well, on the street, along with other vehicles in front and behind of that particular van. So there was no way that that van could have moved or moved to.
So, are you saying that the van driven by Mr. Finley was obstructing the traffic? Because you did see that there were vehicles behind him.
Mm, he couldn't have obstructed the traffic if there was vehicles in front of him and people also. And I mean like hundreds of people.
But what about the vans that were behind him?
Them couldn't move going away neither
Why not?
because there were hundreds of people there. So they could where are they do knock down people.
Okay. Did you see them make an attempt to move?
Of course. And when he was told to move, he pointed to the obvious to the commissioner that hello, me can't go nowhere, me neither can't go forward nor back. Vehicle in front of me, vehicle behind, people like joke in the street. So where am I to go?
Okay. Okay. Um, did you recognize anyone else other than the commissioner of police?
Um, 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 oh yes, I remember. I was it at that point. I remember that um Council Kebakas Batis
Mm-hmm.
came and was even pointing out the obvious to the commissioner that hello, as you can see, well she pointed out two things as far as I remember. As you can see, one, the place is blocked so that the van cannot go anywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
two, a person has a right to protest in any way. If they are part of a protest, they have a right to protest in any way that will cause attention. So if this
So who
person
was
is
protesting?
there were thousands of people protesting in the streets.
Okay. How are you so
Thousands of
certain
people
they
were
were
protesting.
protesting?
Well, I was part of a protest,
Okay.
and many
Okay.
people were there as part of the protest.
Okay. So let me ask you the question. Just for confirmation, are you saying that there was absolutely no way that that van could have been moved from where it was?
Absolutely no way.
Okay. Did you witness the arrest of Mr. Finley?
Of course, and I also witnessed something else.
What was that?
I witnessed the commissioner of police hitting the Mr. Finley,
Hit him where?
slap him,
Mm. As
and as a
in his
matter of fact, yes, as is in his face, and as a matter of fact, he offered to slap me too.
oh, he did?
Oh yes, oh yes,
And did you
yes,
accept the
yes.
offer of the slap?
Oh, of course, of course. I actually offered my face and told the commissioner, please bless me, please, with a slap,
And what
and
was
I would
his
have turned the
response?
other cheek. Oh, his response was to walk to say, well, um, if I don't move, he will stop me. And again, I told him, please, bless me. I want to be blessed with such a slap, such a gift, from the commissioner, the esteemed commissioner of police, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so forth. But he refused.
Let me ask you something else.
I
No,
have one question, Your Honor, please.
no, you're not asking me questions. This is my courtroom.
So I can't ask if I'm not good enough to be blessed with a slap from the commissioner.
No, that is irrelevant. Now, could you say what happened as the police commissioner moved away from the um the van, that area?
Well, they walk with the guy, one. And two, the commissioner was pelted with water because people knew he was wrong. They told him plain up he was wrong.
Okay. I have a video here um that was submitted earlier. I want to show it to you. So allow me to pull that video up. I wish for you to just look at it and tell us exactly what you see happening in the video. Let me see if I can find it here.
So
You'll have
before
to
we go to
make
the
it
video, I can ask a question in the court, Your Honor.
make it brief.
So is it that I'm too ugly or something that me not able to be blessed with a slap from the commissioner? Your Grace?
I don't see the relevance of your question. I'm sorry.
But if I was offered something, Your Honor, and I said, please give the gift to me, and he refused, me not supposed to feel bad, Your Honor?
Like I said, you are allowed to ask one question, and your one question is over and done with.
Your Honor, me have me shot in my pants, So me I show respect. So me shut in on my pants.
Okay. Please do not force me to have you escorted from my courtroom.
But then and then I go get a witness statement.
Are you being confrontational?
No, Your Honor, I'm just a hostile witness.
Okay. Well, please to desist with the hostility before you have to overnight at Her Majesty's.
You calling the commissioner of police, man?
The Commissioner of Police is right here. Can't you see him?
Maybe then I'll be gifted with a slap. Thank you.
Okay, I have to really and truly you know what? I'll have to sit down these proceedings for a while, and
Mm,
I'm going to ask you to step out.
thank you.
I'll
Thank
I'll
you.
get back to you.
You have some of the worst people in the court here. People like Patricia Williams and them. Hmm. And Jocelyn Olive.
Okay,
Hmm.
so let me. All right, so we're back. That's how it's done here in Monkey Court. We're back. I think I found the video. Did I find like wait. Are we going on here to like my last video again? Oh sorry. Like I lost the video. Where is the video? I just found it. Okay. This is oh dear. Mm. It is playing here. Why isn't it not downloading? What file is this? Oh, there it is. All right, I see where it's gone. So I'll have to go here, come here. Okay, hold on, Mr. Officer, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to play this video, and I want you to tell us exactly what is happening in the video. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So let me share the screen here. Okay. Are you seeing the video?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So okay, I'm going to pause here for a bit. Could you explain what's happening here?
Your Honor, there's 6 people that look plenty to boy.
Could you just answer my questions? Thank you.
Yeah, yes, please. That is the Commissioner of Police heading back to the barracks. If I'm not mistaken, along with Ken Into, um, under arrest, with a whole heap of people about the place.
Mm-hmm. His
Hmm.
uniform seems a bit damp. Do you care to explain what happened there? Do you know?
Well, he was. I witnessed him being dumped with water after he had hit Mr. Finley and so forth, and people saw the way Mr. Finley was treated by the commissioner, so they showed their disgust by pelting him with water.
The commissioner of police?
Of course.
So you're saying that the commissioner of police was doused with water?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The tweet. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. I'm noting these things. I'm noting these things. Would you then say that it is this treatment of the commissioner that has him in this state of what seems to be perpetual madness?
Possibly. But then again, in my humble opinion, the commissioner is just dotish.
Dotish.
Yes, please.
What do you mean by dotish? By the commissioner is dotish? Please
Well,
elaborate.
that is the elevated part of stupid, and he passed that without any exam. So the fact that the commissioner that using his head, you're in a hostile situation where anything could happen, surrounded by a crowd, and yet you decide to as we say in local parlance, ill treat a person
Mm-hmm.
without cause, because first and foremost, Mr. Finney was not being in any way, he was not in any way confrontational or hostile. He was
Okay.
cooperating every step of the way. I can tell you that.
Okay.
He was even asking, "Sir, where you want me to go? Where am I to go?"
Mm-hmm. Okay. Continue.
So, with that, and people realizing that an abuse of power is taking place, that is why the commissioner got those with water.
Okay. I'm going to continue the video.
Of course, of course.
Now, you do remember that the police commissioner said that there were about 6 persons on the street, right?
Yes, please.
How far did you get in school?
Um, Fine enough, we could check 1 to 10.
Okay. So, do you think that there are more than 6 people here?
Well, from my counting, yeah, and me reach me limit at 10, so if me reach me limit at 10 past 6.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
that now establishes or brings into light or to question the commissioner's testimony, because in his testimony he did say that there were about 5 or 6 persons on the street and that the van could have been driven away by Mr. Findlay.
Can I say that we have seen where the commissioner and his hierarchy, they have no shame in lying to the code, written in written statements and signed and dotted with their signature.
And
So
you've seen
it
this
doesn't
before?
surprise me. Of course, I've seen it before. A matter of fact, I've been at the receiving end of it.
Okay. Please tell the court what you mean by that.
So in a matter where they wanted to lie to talk about we were part of me and my cohorts were part of organizing a protest and being and leading a protest, a procession. Let me say a procession.
Mm-hmm.
They literally lied in writing. Yeah, to take to the court. And then the matter had to be thrown out because they know they lie.
And you're saying that the Commissioner of Police approved documents,
Yes,
knowing that
please.
those documents contain falsehoods?
Of course, as a matter of fact, his own did it too.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting. Now, this brings into question the credibility of the entire police force, because if the police force has a liar as the
Quick question.
commissioner, then you are bringing into question the entire police force of St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Was there any credibility to begin with?
Like I said, I'm asking the questions, not you.
I withdraw that question, Your Honor.
You cannot be witness and lawyer in here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is either a witness or a witness? If you're a lawyer, okay?
A witness, ma'am. A witness. I was there.
You
Yes,
can't be no
ma'am.
witness lawyer, no lawyer witness.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Don't be disrespectful. It's a disrespectful.
Sorry, ma'am. If I continue to be disrespectful, will I be blessed with a slap by the commissioner, man?
Officer.
Me don't see, I know, Your Honor. You're against me, I know.
Hello, I am.
You're against me.
Hello.
You're against me, blessings.
Officer, could you come over here for me, please? Thank you. If this witness continues along this line, I will have to ask you to remove him from my courtroom. I will not tolerate this disrespect.
The commissioner.
Okay, so let's continue looking at the video there. Now, in relation to the obstruction of traffic, I am seeing that there are actually people here in the streets. Are these the people you're saying who were in front of Mr. Findlay?
Oh yeah. Well, as Your Honor, as me tell you, me only could come to 10, and that look plenty past 10.
Okay.
And me think 10 more than 6.
So the Commissioner of Police, Colin John, is really a liar. He perjured himself in my courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Because he clearly stated, well, this was not what he stated. He gave a figure that was less than 10.
Well, the thing is, Your Honor, you see, if I may be so bold, you can't be so bright for conquer way man for say how 5 man could count and way man see, you know. Because all them people they could be 16 man book.
Okay. Okay. And this is a van here that was driven by Mr. Findlay?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that you standing there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
And I was actually explaining the law to the commissioner at that point, letting him know that he has no jurisdiction to do what he was doing.
How so?
And quoting the requisite, because as I told him, I said, if the man is protesting, 1, you have no right, as long as he is not breaking any law, you have no right at all to touch the man. And you open the man's property, the man's vehicle door, and pull him out.
Did the man
had a right to chop off your hand
from the commissioner to protest?
Well, as far as me know, Your Honor, the last state that me not really have to ask permission from nobody, you know. So me not think the man had to ask permission from the commissioner. Now party being going to have.
Okay. Interesting.
So
you're stating that he did not ask permission from the commissioner?
No, ma'am. I don't think so. Okay. As far as I know, you don't have to.
All right. I'm noting this. Anything else you wish to say before you step down?
Can I please be blessed with a slap from the commissioner, please, Your Honor?
I'm certain the commissioner would be able to answer that question for himself when he takes the stand. And I will put the question to him.
Because you and I mean like people promise me thing and not deliver. Because he man promised me one real hard slap, and maybe willing to take one year so and turn the other cheek according to the Bible. But the
That's
man
very
not bless me.
commendable of you.
Yeah, because no me like blessings, boy man not bless me. Me not understand how he man not bless me like me not something like me not nobody. Me not can't take them thing there and make me shame.
All right, Mr. King. Thank you. That's all the questions I have for you. I think you've cleared up quite a bit here for us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What I really wanted to gain clarity on was the fact that one, the police commissioner stated that there were about 6 persons in the road, and 2, that the van, there was room for the van to move. The van could
Your
have
Honor,
been moved.
before me leave the courtroom, me find a bias. You're one biased judge. You
Um,
you 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 you
no,
you you
you
you
are
you're
not.
biased.
No, no, no. You are
Mm-hmm.
not in a position to give such a statement.
You're biased in
Um,
the court of law.
I'm certainly not. So thank
You're
you
biased.
for being here.
You're, bi-
Thank you, Mr. King. You may go now.
you're biased against the commissioner.
Thank you,
Justice for the
Mr. King.
commissioner.
Thank
Justice for the
you.
commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. King.
You're against the commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. King. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You could go. Officer, please escort him.
As we tell the commissioner in a officer.
Yes. So me tell this out before he throw me and pinch me.
Remember, say just to involve. Watch out. When they have like a court, Patricia Williams have to step out of the court, eh? Patricia Williams, you can have Patricia Williams in the court
Yes.
talking kind of thing about the witness and them thing.
Patricia was supposed to be a witness to one. But she was disposed that day. Anyhow, she been on the protest line. I was calling she.
Come on, no man. Eh?
I was calling she. But no, serious talk. Calling really and truly go tell people.
Calling an idiot.
6 people been in the protest. 6 people been in the protest.
Calling an idiot.
6 people been in the protest. And then to say that he not touch Ken, he not do Ken nothing.
And me then and watch him pull out him and that's how men he get away.
He not do Ken nothing. But you were there, I mean, clearly from that video, because that video is from my live. You were there before me because I came and I met you there.
Of course.
And when I came there, I saw Colin. He pulled the man by the hand, and I saw him scuffle up the man and, thing him in his chest.
But I told him, if you, I think it was JP's live or Rick Oliver, they had it from a different angle coming up when me and the commissioner had the argument.
They didn't get it.
But somebody's live. Yeah, but somebody's live had it when me and him had the argument, and the person was saying, "Look, Kenson, the commissioner get away," and I was there telling him, "You have no right to touch the man." I told him, I said, "You have no right to touch the man. As a matter of fact, you have no right to put your hand in the man's vehicle or open the man's vehicle. No, you don't have that right."
Well, according to Colin John, he was a perfect saintly commissioner on the protest line.
Wait. And telling me he go slap me? How me pray? You ever pray for something, Jay? And pray that the Lord will grant what you prefer. Me pray that the day. Please. What instant miracle. Please, we call him slap me.
I don't think he would. He should know better. He should know better by now. I sit down there and I'm like, hold it today. I'm thinking about this thing. I'm like, how Colin could see that the man couldn't move? Because then here the other thing now. Let me see if I could find that video here now. Let me see if I could find that. If I could find that video here now, that and all is another sort of issue. It might not be on this one here, you know. Let me see. Let me see.
Colin literally went to that van like a big bully. And I told him plain up, I said, there's a protest going on here. You have no right to come touch nobody unless they're breaking the law.
Well, this is not the video I wanted to show.
But before you show the
But you
video
see,
now,
the video I wanted
what's
to show.
interesting,
No, the video I wanted to
what's in,
show was the
mhm,
video with the van that is in front, Ken's van.
right.
That van, they actually pull the white truck in front of that van late in the evening. Scratchy was directing them to do this. I been there. This is on my other life.
I
And
was there too.
Scratchy is there telling, putting on, helping them to put on, well, guiding them to put on chain on top of the grivan to move the grivan, even though the
Hmm.
keys for the grivan was coming. And they mash up the front bump of that grivan. And I should tell you how
Hmm.
much Ken could not move because they could not get the grivan to move without moving get Ken to move without moving the grivan or without moving the line of
Exactly.
vans behind him.
Exactly.
And it's the police who had to chain up the van in front of Ken to try to move the van.
Yep.
How Colin could go court and say that we call it
Because G,
Ken wasn't
Colin is a
moving.
liar. Colin is a liar. We have a judiciary that has fallen into the entire judiciary, legislature, and everything. All of them in cahoots. All of them just nasty. All of them governed by people right now who cannot be trusted. All of them who in the same clique. Because if you follow the line, you will see that all of them in the same damn clique. So everybody's scratching each other's back.
I wanna play
It's no longer.
this
It's no
video,
longer. It's no longer about law.
and that is going to be. Hold on, eh? That's the messed up thing about our society, and we'll get to that. Let me put it over here because I want people to see how Ken was going towards the what you call it. Hold on.
Listen, listen. We know that Kalina them lie. We know that.
All right, so here's the video. Taking a while. Okay, so let's get down. These are the 6 people who've been in tongue, eh?
Mm-hmm.
The 6 people. Okay, that's after. You see, handy. That's after, right? So this is Ken going wrong to the police station now. Let people see this. They couldn't even get Ken out of it fast enough.
But that's the point.
They had to navigate through all of these people here. And Colin says 6 people been in town. Protesters blocking them because so many people been in the road. And Colin John went and lie in court to say 6 people been on the road. Thank you very much, Pat. 6 people on the road. What are they holding on to the boy? For what?
And he
If he
wasn't
wanted
resisting
to
in
run,
any
where he
way.
was going to run, go.
But he wasn't resisting in any way.
But my thing is, if he wanted to run, where was he going to run to go? The whole police squad, including the commissioner of police and deputy commissioners and whoever else, the whole police squad been on top of the road.
Exactly.
Because I
Exactly.
could remember when Colin Wet Benji was standing there and other senior officers been standing there too.
Them know who them go fool, energy. Eh?
What?
Them know who them go fool. Them know who them go fool.
Had the man holding him by his pants. For the what?
Like if him man so hostile and so forth, I
For the
pose so
what?
much of a threat. The man doesn't pose a single threat to nobody.
Every last one of you. All of the one.
Watch. Where was the traffic Colin was talking about?
I don't know. What's in your
So
mind?
Ken was obstructing traffic here too?
What's in your mind?
The truck they had to take out to move the van that was in front of Ken. That truck there. Truck now itself built for that kind of thing. They might try to put people van pan truck. Look Enville. And he did. He went peacefully.
Exactly. Exactly. And these people had to be sick of AJ. Yeah. And if these people in all of these cases could be so light, I want to know how them could want to come tell me that we must trust them.
Exactly. And that's why I said, remember after I read out the witness statement from Scratchy and the others, I said plainly, anybody who had a case brought against them by Scratchy or anybody else should go forget a review because Scratchy and them just lied.
Yes. And proven too. But you know, Claston Francis still on my phone? Illegally.
Old thief. What thief it say think you get it back? Thieves will just walk back and say,
somehow, me go either get it back or get something for it.
I tell you, you need to get the spirit of David and the spirit of Samson.
And me say, me have to get back a phone or something equivalent to a phone from Claston Francis.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Notice me say, me have to get it.
Of course. Because it's certain people can't sue the police. Well, here now, we plan to sue the police, you know. And when I see all this, we plan to sue the police. I mean, I want to police and I can see. When I see all of this done, me want to for name individual officers. It's like how Scratchy could write witness statement for say how me been pan bullhorn and tell people to do this and tell people to do that. Me want to drop a lawsuit and Scratchy backside. You understand me?
Lying, blatantly lying, and put you in danger.
Yeah, lie upon me. And they say Buju in his witness statement, for say how me hold up hand and signal people and people. Me want lash a lawsuit under Buju specifically. Me want name Buju. Me don't want name the police force on Kenson.
Exactly.
The police force will get named. They will get named. But me want name them individuals here and deal with them.
Yes. Yes.
Because me want Scratchy for bring whatever proof he has of me, Adriana King, at a protest on a bullhorn, telling people, he said me tell them what? Them Black Road and we could Black Road now too. Like, me Scratchy me.
Well,
Anybody who been they have never ever seen me using any bullhorn at any protest. Never. And Scratchy go right.
I feel never get mixed up. I feel never get mixed up with the Kings, I know. I feel so.
Me not care when I get mixed up with Kenson. It's a lie. It's a lie. Because Scratchy
that's the whole thing.
He never seen me on a protest with no bullhorn. And then could tell me, me been a sip on bullhorn. Will me ever sip on bullhorn at a protest? Anybody who's ever been at any protest or watch a protest, no. I am on live.
Well, remember, Buju. Been a make sure do for he part to see where he could have get on, but they overlook him. In again, not the mark commission upon he.
Good fatal. Good fatal. It too low. To land deceitful. Would you say me call crowd? So you want to tell me, right? What amount of people in Kingston, the Kents? What amount of people we just shoot it? And me, we
Exactly.
stand up one end of the protest and command everybody for come down go meet me. Would you a lunatic?
And pass only take man. If them could go so far for edit a video for try for get anime in problems, what they not gonna do? Eh?
But a friend of mine said something quite profound today. She said,
You see, Pat. You
watch
see,
how
Pat. You
them
need to get
just
Patricia
bring
Akada
down
alive, eh?
curse. Just bringing down curse on their children and their grandchildren.
Well, that
Easy,
is it.
easy.
You need to get Patricia Williams off of this, eh? But police and Bullhorn in the same sentence. You see, watch me.
Leave Patricia alone.
You need.
You're going to sit down and bring down curse upon generations and generations of your
They
family.
don't care, Dre. They don't care. They don't care.
Anyhow,
They
before we
don't
wrap
care.
up, I have one more thing here tonight I want to deal with. I have to touch on this one here tonight. I have to.
How about that?
But I don't know why it's playing back this way. When I try to listen to it, it's going really, really fast. So people, bear with me. This thing ain't sounding the way it's supposed to sound, but you'll get the gist of it. I would explain to y'all what it's about. So here it is. Now this is
Oh
Ben
God, them they.
on must be Star FM or one of them. I want y'all
Yes,
to
Tassel.
listen. And when y'all finish listening, I will explain certain things.
Did you listen to my press conference? You listened to me, Minister. I listened to you. I listened to your press conference. Okay. How many questions were asked after that? One. Yes. And you didn't answer it. I didn't answer it as well.
Now, Julian calls in because Bentley's on the radio and Bentley is talking about the project, the quarry down Leeward. And Bentley is speaking on this project based on his qualifications, right? Julian sit down home or sit down in a rum shop or wherever it is he was sitting down in, I don't know. Or he was probably down by the quarry counting some more orgasms from
Kong
Reno. Never
Stone.
tell.
A Kong Stone.
Could never tell. He wasn't counting stone, he was counting orgasms. So I don't know. Maybe he could have been down there doing anything. I don't know what Julian was doing. But Julian decided he wouldn't call him on the radio because now Bentley is talking and all the
Damage
nastiness
control.
is coming out. Bentley mentioned something about Lomans. I ain't get to hear that piece yet, but I will go back to that piece because there's something about Lomans that Bentley mentioned on the radio that needs to be discussed. But we'll discuss that another time. So, anyways, Julian calls in and he's like, you listen to my press conference? Listen to my press conference, his press conference, his press conference. And Bentley says, well, yeah, I listened to you. And you were asked a question and never answer that question. And it's something that we said the minute it happened. When he was asked about the environmental impact assessment, Julian's answer was the same answer that Saboto and Richard and Carlos gave down Leeward. Go look for it. And Bentley's here telling him plainly, you didn't answer it. So listen good.
Somebody asked about impact and he told them to go and get the documents and read it. But yeah, that's still not available.
Now here Bentley yesterday. Julian is saying the document is available. And Bentley is saying to him, well, no. I went, I look, me and see them, so the document there. And this is something that we keep saying.
Exactly.
If the environmental impact assessment is available, if it's a real thing that relates to this quarry, why is it nobody could find it?
But you know, the most dangerous part out of all of that interview, was where Julian, I would tell Bentley, he could have called he Julian.
Oh, reach it. I'm dealing with this piece here, the environmental impact assessment. Where is it? Because Julian had a whole press conference talking about a document, right? So both Carlos and Richard went down to Leeward talking about a document. And as far as I know, the document that they're all speaking about had nothing to do with the quarry project.
Nothing. Nothing.
So where is the EIA in relation to the quarry? Wait, they can.
Do you believe in dimensions, G? In different dimensions?
So it in a different dimension.
Yeah, somewhere about it, the one where you can't see, where you not vibrate to yet.
So how
So
we going to get it?
yes, better start to vibrate to that to the frequency of the dimension. Eh?
But we need it now.
Then again, the point remains that really and truly you can get something that is not there, get something from nothing. So the fact
Okay.
remains there was no environmental impact study done. None.
Thank
Zero.
you.
Because with
Thank you.
us who aren't trained, people I tagged you in a live that was done by a guy on a boat down there. And the guy was
Mhm.
showing you all a whole heap. Listen,
I
the
was going.
lemon on
I
the
actually
street,
contacted him. You know.
yeah, the lemon on the street, G, could look and see the impact that going to happen. And you are
Mhm.
telling me these mega jackasses in the government can't see?
No, no, they can't see. Is that they refuse to see because remember,
No, they
money
just they just
talks.
they just lost is selfish.
Money
Yeah.
talks. Money talks. And then the other thing with the EIA council, let's not forget that the eruption of La Soufre changed a lot of things.
Of course.
It changed a lot of things. So even if they had an EIA before the eruption of La Soufre made that obsolete.
Hmm.
They would
Exactly.
have, they would have to do over another one. But we know they didn't do
Yeah.
anything. So like we're not even
But
going
we
the line
know.
to say do
We
over
know.
because they did
And
not do
and all the
anything.
talk when they talk about they were in discussion with NGOs, none of the NGOs of them had discussions with them. Because everybody
No.
wonder what the hell they're talking about.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you. Now let's continue. Now Bentley is going on here now. And this is when they went and see the real pettiness from Julian coming out. Because when he realized that Bentley putting him in his place, he tried to do with Augustine and them. We don't train Augustine and them for do attack people character. Listen to him.
But then have you tried? I have tried. Where did you try then to get it from? I am having a press conference. You know me personally. You didn't call my ministry. I don't know if you call physical planning. I don't know where you call. Where did you try then? I spoke to. I have the document to go on. I have the document. Okay, well, I have the environmental plan. I have copy of the ESI that was done in 28. I have the operation quarry plan. I have the conditions that were attached to the approval from physical plan. On the quarry, so Minister, can you make those documents? They are public documents. They can. Okay, fine. Fine. All right, let's move on from there.
So if we want these documents, we have to ask Julian for them.
You have to go to Julian. You have to ask Julian. Because Julian they planning and so forth. You see why me keep on believing when they say it is alleged that Julian when Julian tell the people that they were planning that above their pay grade.
Above the pay grade. Because not even planning have a copy.
Imagine that, eh?
Not even
Planning.
planning has a
Who
copy.
sign it? Who's supposed to sign up on the thing don't have a copy?
Them not have no copy.
Agree.
But
I will
I
run off
gave.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
I'll catch you up later.
All right, cool.
And good night to all those on the live. Eh? Sorry I couldn't stay too much longer.
Go on before Felix.
Later.
Can't bail you.
All
Yes,
right.
people. So Julian here now. Listen to Julian.
Right. So let's move on from there. I understand. So it's really unfair that Bentley, who was a former physical planning officer in the government, will go on here and say that there's a possibility that the government may have issued an order. No, I didn't say there's a possibility. I said to it.
Now I'm not sure why the audio dropped out here, but Julian and Bentley had it out for a little bit there with Bentley promptly putting Julian in his place. That go back there.
Possibility that the government may have issued an order.
Okay.
No, I didn't say there's a possibility. I said to it. I said it can be done. You're not listening to me. Anyway, Minister, well, I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you're clarifying. I'm glad you clarified those things because I was trying to clarify in what I said. Process. What I said 2 weeks was clearly that can be done. I didn't say it was done. Why draw it out mentally? If that was true, I would have said so in my press conference. The person would have asked me. He asked a question about what was your purpose for saying that then?
Vex Julian Vex, eh?
I don't understand the question. Well, Minister, listen to me. I consider myself I'm not only educated, but Minister, I am not only educated.
Listen good. Listen to what Bent is about to say and listen to Julian's response.
Minister, look. Your interpretation is not necessarily correct, and don't take me on and mislead. I was asked a question, I responded to the question. Which asked me a question, which asked me if it is possible. Because of the line they were running, I agreed with.
Listen to man-child Julian.
And so on, as well as you, or even maybe better than you.
So he says to Bentley that same weeks who name get caught up in misappropriation of funds and all that. He's trying to tell Bentley now that Weeks is perhaps a better public servant than he is, and perhaps more knowledgeable than he is. Mind you, Weeks now had not trained in the area that Bentley trained in. Now, let's continue.
Gentlemen, Minister, you say I don't want to take you on. And let me just say this, I am an expert in this area. I've been doing this for years. I will not be led.
Listen to that again.
I am an expert in this area. I've been doing this for years. I will not be led.
So Bentley says, I'm an expert in this area. And Julian says, what? I agree with you. You're an expert in this area. So tell me now why Julian Francis feels that he should call in on the radio to correct the expert in the field when he himself is saying that the man is an expert in the field. People, you'll have to look into this quarry thing deeply. Stop listening to liar Julian and liar Ralph and lying Sabota and lying Carlos and start look at this project. Start looking at it. And we have to know this much. I said it before and I'm going to say it again before I end off. Any project, any single project that interferes with natural waterways is a concern to the entire nation. What is happening in North Leeward is not just about North Leeward. It's about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Do you understand that for 30 years, this company is going to be using explosives and whatever else comes along to do quarrying in North Leeward? Do you understand that they're changing the natural waterways? Do you understand that they're destroying natural waterways, that they're destroying the natural habitats of animals and fish? Do you understand this? Do you understand how they are going to destroy or going to tamper with the natural habitat of so many, including us? These are the things that you need to think about. The dust, the earth tremors, those people who live in Fitzhughs, I think some of them would wake up when, well, Jacinta CJea is not saying anything about the project, but once an EIA is done, CJea would have to do their own assessment. Honorable Daniel Cummings, who was manager of CJea, even at a point when I worked at CJea, would tell you that what is happening there would seriously impact our water sources. It would. And so it is concern for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And mind you, here you have a company that's coming in that is going to mess up our water supply. And the government has tanks over in Otley Hall stored up that were supposed to be given to people because of the eruption of La Soufrière. So you think that when Renault construction starts messing with our water, when our water starts coming through our pipelines full of sediment or remnants of whatever explosives that were used, you think We're not concerned about that. You think the government of St. Vincent concerned about that? Hmm? Only think so? Think again. If we don't show our concern, nobody else is going to do so. Nobody else. Would CWSA come forward and tell us whether or not their systems are equipped to it's been contaminated by Reno? These are things to think about. These are things to think about. Well, Brenton, I can't answer that question for Bentley. As old people say, better late than never, not true? I guess he had to leave St. Vincent, go elsewhere and work, and then really understand, you know, how important it is to speak up. But I know Cecil, Pigeon, and Weeks weren't expecting him to be honest and open that day. They weren't. They almost get Julian a heart attack, it seems. But yes, people, we have to stop that project in North Leeward by any means necessary. That project cannot go on. If we in St. Vincent and Grenadines allow that quarry, if we allow that quarry to go on, that would be the end of life here in this country as we know it. As I was saying, maybe it's when the people in Fitzhugh's, when they start inhaling dust every day, or when they start seeing the cracks in their foundations and the cracks in their walls, maybe then is when they would wake up and realize, darn, we messed up. We messed up. When the children start developing all sort of breathing issues, 30 years, 30 years. That is some people's entire life. 30 years. Just think about it. Your child, who is now 5 years old, will never get to go down to North Leeward until they're probably in their 50s. Because don't think when the quarry finished in 30 years, and we don't know if they have permission to renew it. So don't think that when the quarry is shut down in 30 years, trees are going to magically erupt. Wildlife is going to magically return and everything comes back as normal. That is 30 years of usage. You hear me? Triple up that when you start talking about how long we will not be able to enjoy that area. Triple that figure. So it's going to take us maybe 60, maybe 90 years before we could go down to North Leeward. Because guess what? After they've gone, you'd want to ensure that the area is stable. You'd want to ensure that they didn't have no explosives that they might have forgot. Yeah? Because in St. Lucia, 4 people were killed on a quarry for because they had some explosives in a container and people were working on the container, so the container blew up. And so he cannot get an explosives license in St. Lucia. So when Julian and them talking the dotishness about license, ask Julian, when was Renault's explosive license, the license that gave him permission to use explosives? Ask Julian why that was not returned to him. And if Julian wanted to tell it was returned to him, ask Julian when. Tell him to bring it. Tell him to give you a picture of it so that we could send it over to St. Lucia and get the government there to verify whether the document is valid or not. Because after that explosion, after the death of those 4 people, nobody Julian in line self sit on press conference and talk about 2 to 3. 4 people were killed. 4, Julian, 4. You like Colin, you can't count, totish. Idiots. Idiots. Don't be bamboozled by these people. Do not be bamboozled by these people. 30 years for the quarry. And if it is that they don't have in their contract that they're going to renew at the end of those 30 years, or who knows, they might get the chance to buy the land at the end of the 30 years. Who knows? Because we don't know what their contract says. We do not know what their contract says. So 30 years is when they're going to be mining down there. But it is going to be 60 to 90 years before Vincentians could venture into that area. Think about your child's entire lifetime. They would not be able to see that part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Y'all missing that. Y'all are sorely, sorely missing that fact. When did he changed support Brenton? All these people looking for money. That's all they're doing. Looking for money. Yes, Miranda. We'll be having a protest. I know persons like Nicole keen on this. I think there will be a protest. I'm not sure how that is going to work out, but once it's a protest, I will be there. No doubt. Next week, Thursday, when there's Parliament, there will be a protest at the Parliament building, in front of the Parliament building. So those of you from North Leeward, bring your placards and come. But I tell all of this now, y'all have to get ready for use more than placards. Because placards alone won't stop that project. Y'all have to get ready to maybe chain all yourself to equipment, push equipment over bank. Or have to get ready for action down North Leeward. That way all have to get ready for action. Now no sit and talk. Come and protest, yes. Protest help to bring awareness. Protest helps to bring awareness. But you see that project down there, when you see them don't give approval for that project there, there's action all I have to do. All you need to get ready for action in North Leeward. You all have, I think, the biggest constituency, as in population. Deal with them. Deal with them like your life depends on it, because your life depends. I keep saying to y'all, all you have to deal with Ralph and them, just like how Ralph and them does deal with we cold. Stop thinking too much. You think Ralph thought about anything but money when he get rid of that opportunity to go along there? Look, whole elections, Ralph never said anything about no quarry. Up to now, Ralph ain't saying nothing about no quarry. But a man had permission to build a quarry down to develop a quarry in North Leeward. And he coming now and talking about how we need the project. How come they ain't campaign on the quarry? How come on the election campaign in him saying, oh, we're going to get a quarry down North Leeward because we need the quarry and we need the money from the quarry and we need the aggregate? How come he didn't do that? How come? Because they know what they're doing is only going to benefit their pockets. It's not going to benefit the intentions, because you can't tell me that you have a business, right? You bring in a man, or let's say you have resources, whatever. You bring in a man to develop your resources, and you only getting 1% of what he does. 99% goes outside. The country doesn't benefit from that 99% there. Reno and allegedly Julian and Ralph and their children are who are going to be benefiting from this project. Not Vincentians. When Julian dead and gone and rot away, we will still be facing the effects of this quarry. Ralph, like, he not had too long to live neither. So when he dead and gone, we will be left here facing the effects of this quarry. He couldn't be bothered. As long as he ensures that when the money comes in, the money goes in his children's pocket. But you sit down there. So you go sit down there and breathe in dust and kill yourself and kill your children for fattening Ralph and the picnic in. Vincentians, wake up. Wake up. I don't know why y'all still think that the Ralph Gonsalves administration has any love for any of you. Any. And the last thing I want to talk about tonight is Dubai. And I will say this plain and simple. If y'all don't look at what is happening in Dubai and see it as a representation of this country here, y'all still sleeping. Here we have a situation where our tax-paying dollars paid for contingent to go to Dubai. Nothing. No press release to say who gone Dubai. If I ask any of you on this live here now to name 8 people who gone to Dubai, all you can name 8. Unless it's all your friends. But it shouldn't be so. They should have been released in newspapers that X, Y, and Z, ABC, JKL, MNLP is in Dubai. And these are the reasons why they're in Dubai. So, head of contingent, ABC. Director of musical performances, CBD. Manager for whatever, performance or performers, JK, OP, RS. That should have been released to the public. But you don't know who gone. And we don't know what they're going to do, but it's our taxpayers. Then now, when you start looking at pictures, you're seeing this one wife over here, that one wife over there, that one child over here. So, and all that is tax-paying dollars. Because let me tell you something, eh? Let me tell all you something. Because I know some of you go on to say, oh, she paid for that out of her pocket. Oh, is the husband paid for it? Let me tell you something. Let me tell all you something. All you to use to cover nastiness in this country. All you to use to unethical practices in this country. So all you can keep on excusing the nastiness in them. Now let me say this to you. If I were to go on official business with my husband and I were to pay for my husband's ticket out of my pocket, or my husband were to pay for his ticket out of his pocket, because of course it's somewhere he's never been and he wants to go to see and he would love to accompany me, or whatever the case is, let me tell you certain things that can't happen. Number one, he can't be appearing in official photos. Okay? That's the first thing. He cannot appear in official photos. The second thing is he can't be part of any official business. In this case, the business that most of them are taking part in has to do with entertainment. He can't be part of that. Good. Number 3, if there's a van that comes to pick us up at a hotel to take us to different venues, he's not supposed to be on that van. He is not supposed to be on that van. What he would have to do is that he would have to make his way to and from whatever events he wants to see in the country. And if perchance at the end of my work day, we have time, we could go sightseeing with each other. That's how it works in countries where they believe in ethics and where there's not this amount of corruption. Because don't think that those prime ministers who travel don't sometimes travel with their children. Don't think that is always the case where the child is left behind. But unless it's an official function that dictates that the child should be present, you don't see them showing up their children in these videos and these things. You don't see it. Their wives, head of states, when they travel, are usually expected to be accompanied by their wife. Usually expected. There are times when it would state clearly or whatever, and you know that the wife is not allowed. There might be times where you would see an invitation coming for head of state and wife. That's something different. So here we are in St. Vincent and Grenadines, paying for mini vacations for the Ralphites and their wives. And all is sit down here and ain't saying one word. And those who speaking coming to defend it, defending the nastiness. It is called corruption. It's an unethical practice. If their spouses are there, their spouses are not to be seen in official photographs. Their spouses are not supposed to be at official functions and being driven about in whatever official vehicles that are being used to pick them up and whatever. It is not done like that. But y'all are too used to all of these unethical, nasty things that Ralph Gonsalves and his cronies do. So y'all think that these things are normal and you come out to defend them. They're unethical. It's the same how I'm going back straight to Fitz and the vehicle in Canada by the embassy, where he was using a vehicle that was bought for the embassy. And then when it was time to trade, whatever it is, however it is what worked out, he ended up owning the vehicle and wanted to take on me and Marlon. Say how you going to carry Marlon, quote, you going to sue Marlon, whatever. And I was like, well, yes, sue Marlon, sue him. Because I would have loved to see Fitz sue Marlon in Canada. Because in Canadian law, it states clearly that no public official is supposed to use anything in relation to their jobs for personal gain. And they're not supposed to accept gifts or anything of the sort. Canadian law states that. It's about ethics. We don't have any laws here in St. Vincent and Grenadines that speak to ethics. So Fitz figure that he could do that and get away here. Because we don't have no law for say so. But I would have loved Fitz to sue Marlon in Canada. I would have loved Fitz to stand up in a court in Canada and tell them that he used to drive the Jeep that the government buy. And because of X, Y, and Z, what kind of mileage story they come up with, he now owns it. I would have loved for that to happen. I would have loved for that to be done in a Canadian court where they actually speak to ethics. We don't have that in St. Vincent. But I will tell you this much. What is happening there in Dubai is unethical. It is unethical. So Gloria is saying that is so true. Gloria, I know it's true because I went and read it. I went and read it for myself. And Canada is not the only country that has these laws. Other countries have it too. Anyhow, you're in public office and you use your office for your benefits, your behind could end up in jail. So I really wanted him to sue Marlon. And he did on Facebook, oh, he going to deal with Marlon. And he going to deal with this. And the stupid idiots and them under the post. Yes, he took out the place. Deal with him. Put him in his place. They're too much. I want them to go ask Fitz now. With the lawsuit there. Why he never sue Marlon? Why he never sue Marlon? With the lawsuit there. The post is still. If you see the man in the post, yes, sue Marlon. They love to talk too much. Put them in the place. And I'm there like, but just look at these idiots. Idiots. Look at them. Every nastiness they jump up behind and support. So now we send a whole contingent of husbands and wives. Husbands and wives we send to Dubai. And y'all don't say anything wrong with that. The whole Labour campaign gone to Dubai. The whole Labour campaign team gone to Dubai. Skinny, Luther, Chanel, Fireman. Who else does have performing for them? Ghana, Dubai. And I'm asking the question, where are the young performers in St. Vincent and Grenadines? Where are our dancers? Where are our theatre people? Where are they? Where are they? Only ULP campaign team could reach somewhere. And they may reach nowhere. That is the other thing about it. We have so many names here in St. Vincent and Grenadines who could have gone over to Dubai. And like I said, I would much rather the younger performers. I would much rather that. But if we're going with them people, let me go with people who make sense. Okay? Let me go with people who make sense. And at least let me go with songs that make sense too now. You have hits from Jodie Boucher. You have Beckett. You have Winston, so you have Kevin Little, you have Marlon Rudette. And I do believe that Marlon Rudette is in St. Vincent. I don't know what Marlon's and Kevin's schedule look like. I don't know. But I'm saying this much, that if they wanted to use a song from them, I don't see them not saying yes to that. I don't see them not saying yes to that. A far better package could have been put together. And everybody did not need to go to Dubai to do the things. You have people go to Dubai for one performance. A whole trip across the world for a single performance. What the hell, let me Queen Elizabeth and Vincentian sit down here, not knowing who gone Dubai, to do what in Dubai, and we silent. We silent. Like we never hear about CJea and USB. We never hear about CJea and USB. Well, Sylvester, that is the point I just made there. So Sylvester is saying that Pitbull on Facebook cursing say that they are not on vacation. It's what they're working. I don't know if you're just joining, Sylvester, but I just made a point in relation to the spouses. I said plainly that if the spouses were in Dubai having paid their own tickets, or their husbands having paid their tickets, the spouses and children who are in Dubai, the spouses and children who are in Dubai, if they're in Dubai on private tickets, they're not supposed to be in official photos, and they're not supposed to be in official rides, and they're not supposed to be at official functions. I said it. I said when the work day is over, then is when whoever could go and spend time with their spouse. Because yes, they should be working. They should be working. The spouse ain't supposed to be gallivanting and in everything that happening over there because the spouse not there for work, is it? That's the point I'm making there. So if Pitbull is saying that they're not over there on vacation, then he can't validate that, not on based on what we've been seeing. He cannot validate that they're over there working, not based on what we've seen. What we're seeing is people with their families on vacation. So tell Pitbull, shh. Tell him, shh. Because we don't see people working. We see people and their wife, people and their children on vacation. If they were there working, their wives and their children would not have been starring in whatever was happening. Michelle, as we old people just say, full of talk but not full of listen. Everybody went over there on our taxpaying dollars. I want to see money leaving bank accounts. I want to see the money trail to convince me otherwise. Don't come show me no check that you write. Because we know how they nasty. We know how they nasty. Hey Rochelle, you can't tell me that you over there on work, and your wife popping up every minute. Your wife in this picture here, your wife in that picture there. No, that's not work, darling. That's a vacation. That's a vacation. And then looking at this so-called cultural performance, this one upset me. The cultural performance, at least I think it's a cultural performance. I don't know. Again, they're not telling us what is happening. But they had a performance and it was dubbed Vincy Mass. Now my thing is, if it was supposed to be a performance to show culture, again, it shows us the state of this country here. And I made a post this morning on Facebook about it, and I said plainly that the quadrille, most Vincentians don't know about the quadrille dance. When I was at API years ago, we did a documentary on it. That is dead. That dance is dead. The cake dance, for you to see the cake dance, you have to go to the Grenadines and pray somebody having a wedding down there. People on the mainland, plenty of people on the mainland don't know anything about the cake dance that happened in the Grenadines. 20 years of this administration and these things that I still practice here. I don't know if they're unique, but they're very much practiced here. We don't know about them. They're not being taught in our schools. 20 years. And when it comes to culture, the only thing that we could do is jump up on a stage. That's the only thing we could give the world to say it's culture. Jump up on a stage. After 20 years, we don't have a theatre in this country. 20 years under this government, we don't have a theatre. Y'all going to Peace Memorial Hall and y'all think that's a theatre. Until you go to somewhere like Barbados, Grenada, or Trinidad, and you walk into a real theatre and you say, darn, and make it once you go to the States or to England or to Canada, so some developed country, and you walk in a place that is called a theatre and they say, boy, the Peace mo be 20 years and all we have is Peace mo. And we're given a cultural presentation, all we could do is jump up on a stage. And the people who we put to jump on a stage, not even the best in the country. Where's Magical? Magical is not some kind of reigning something at this point. How come Magical wasn't over there? If it is that we're doing a jump up and way, why Magical wasn't over there? Y'all will have to correct me because I don't follow Carnival, I don't. But I do note certain things. And he is a past student of mine, well, not direct from St. Martin. So I remembered him winning something. He won something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Problem Child supposed to be some reigning something too? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know for a fact that Problem Child could do far better than Plenty Mystery. Whereas Mad Zat, if we're going along that line, no, you have to carry the ULP campaign team. And we all know why the ULP campaign team has to be carried. It's the ULP's campaign team. But they're far better performance here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you're going to do the jump up and wave, if all you're going to take is Carnival to Dubai, why you didn't take the best of our Carnival performers? Why didn't you? And y'all want to sit down and allow all this nepotism and all this corruption to just fester, and all you come and defend it. Stop defending nastiness. And that's why I will leave you all tonight. Stop defending nastiness. Support CJea's mom and his family as they call for justice in this country. Stand up for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your children and their future by saying no to that quarry in North Leeward. That quarry should not happen in North Leeward. It should not. If you love yourself, if you love your children, stand up. Those of you who are living, as I know somebody typing OTR this up, stand up for yourselves. Stand up for yourselves. You're not getting a road. In the last budget, there was nothing big budgeted for you, and you suffer the most from loss of free. All you're out there getting one sheet of galvanized to repair house roofs, knowing fully well that the government was given money to repair your entire house roof, and all they're giving you is one sheet of galvanized. But you're not asking them what they're doing with the rest of the money. Houses donated from Trinidad still out there locked up, while people are living 2 and 3 families under one half a roof. and you in the OTR sit down there and all ain't saying nothing. Stop defending nastiness. Because all is so frightened that if all they start to speak, Ralph will come at you. Well, let Ralph come at you. Stand up for righteousness. Because I don't know how many of you could sit down in this country and talk about a God above that you serve, but you're afraid this big belly, ugly face, demon here that named Ralph Gonsalves. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Stop call up God name. Stop call God name. Because if you are a Christian, the God you serve will give you the strength to defeat your enemies. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Have a good week. And we shall see next week, God's willing. Ming Ming, get off the grid. They need to get off the quarry train. They need to get off. Good night, Winston. Good night. Yeah, we went a little bit long tonight. And I really should. I'm gonna get some sleep now. My grandmother's being buried tomorrow, so I need to go and get some rest and whew, be good. Ciao.